Hey everyone, my name is True North Defender. Welcome to my video on officers versus enlisted, otherwise known as non-commissioned members. This video is going to basically cover which one you should pick, which one is better, etc. Let me know how you guys like the video. If there's any issues or complaints or anything you want to see me improve on, shoot me a comment, leave a message. You can even shoot me an email if you want. I have my business email on my about. I'd really appreciate any feedback you guys can give me, but sit back, take care, and enjoy. As an officer in the Canadian Armed Forces, one of your primary duties is to lead your team. Imagine being the conductor of an orchestra, where each member needs to play their part perfectly. You'll also manage resources, ensuring that everyone has what they need to perform their duties effectively, from equipment to training opportunities. Think of yourself as a manager in a dynamic, high-stakes environment with guns. You're not just giving orders, you're orchestrating the use of resources to achieve mission success. Officers are often the brains behind the operation. They're the ones who look at the big picture, analyze the data, and provide strategic advice. This could mean planning a mission from scratch or advising on how to adapt to new challenges on the ground. Picture yourself in a war room, discussing strategies with other leaders. You're using your expertise to forecast outcomes, assess risks, and craft plans that could affect national security or international cooperation. Leadership in the CAF isn't just about giving commands, it's about caring for your team. Officers ensure their soldiers are healthy, motivated, and ready. When decisions are made, you're the one at the helm. And if things go south, you're also the one who stands accountable for the faults and your actions. Think of it like this. You're not just a leader, you're a guardian for your team. Your decisions can shape lives, careers, and missions. It's a really heavy responsibility, but also one of the most rewarding aspects of being an officer. Your journey as an officer can take you from leading a small unit on specific tasks to commanding a large operation or even holding an executive position where you influence policy and strategy at the highest levels. The beauty of this career path is its scalability. You might start by guiding a squad through a training exercise, but with time, some experience, and a lot of promotions, you could find yourself in charge of a significant military operation. You could also be in charge of interacting with international allies or even shaping the future of the CAF itself. Each step is a huge challenge and a new set of responsibilities, but it's also a fresh opportunity to make a difference in something especially meaningful. When you join the CAP as an officer, you'll start as either an officer cadet or a naval cadet. The name may change depending on which branch you're applying for, as each branch, both the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, have their own unique traditions and their own unique set of responsibilities within that branch. Now, there are some educational requirements. To wear the officer's uniform, you'll need to have a university degree at the minimum that's relevant to your military occupation. Think of it as your ticket to leadership. It's not just about having knowledge, but having the right kind of knowledge that applies directly to your military role in which you're applying for. However, if you've already graduated from university, there is the direct entry program, and that is a way to fast track into the CAF. You'll dive straight into basic training and then move on to a specialized occupational training, where you'll be learning the ropes of your specific job within a military context. If you're still in school, or if you're looking to get a degree while serving, there is the paid university entry plan, or the Royal Military College route you might be interested in. Here, you get to serve while you study, blending your academic life with military training. It's essentially like a dual degree in leadership and your chosen field. Now, with your basic military qualification, this is where you really start to shape up as an officer. The BMQ, or Basic Military Qualification course, isn't just about physical fitness, although it is a big part of it, and it's really important that you're fit when you go to BMQ. It's mainly about honing your leadership skills. You'll be thrown into scenarios where you'll lead, make decisions under pressure, and learn to adapt to the military environment. Just imagine being on a field exercise, navigating through an unknown terrain at night, or leading your team in a mock combat situation. This training is all about preparing you to be both a leader and a tactician in real-world scenarios, although they're not expecting you to be fucking Sun Tzu. Beyond the basics, especially BMQ, there's always going to be more to learn, and that's where there's additional training that comes in. If you need to pick up another language to communicate or understand your allies better, or the communities you might serve in, DCAP provides opportunities for that. It's all about ensuring you're as effective as possible in any scenario. And the language options are just an example. There are plenty of options as well on the side that actually allow you to improve the skills within your field. Now, like I mentioned previously, you do need some type of university degree when you are trying to become an officer. And an important thing to note is that each of these unique jobs in the CAF actually require a certain degree. You can't just apply with any degree for a certain very unique job unless it's kind of something not necessarily vague, but something applicable all around, such as an armor officer. As you can see there in the middle of the picture, you can actually have any science degree, any engineering degree, or any arts degree. That means you could be an armor officer with a bachelor's in psych or even a bachelor's in computer science. It really doesn't matter as long as you have any type of degree. And then you get into more specific roles. You can see right there at the very bottom, there's construction engineering officer. That requires no science degree. You cannot have a science degree. You cannot have an arts degree. You specifically must have a chemical, civil, electrical, or mechanical engineering degree. Otherwise, you won't be able to do that job in the CAF. So, like I mentioned previously, make sure when you're applying that you either are applying for the correct job that fits your field, or you're ready to go ahead and get that education either through RMC or through some type of civilian program at one of the universities in Canada. Now, for the officer ranks in the CAF. Essentially, you can see here from the top to the bottom, you have the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. The lowest ranks being on the far left side, to the mid-range being in the middle, and the far right, the 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star, or I guess in this case, elite generals, being on the far right. Their pay ranges quite significantly from the lowest to the mid-range to the bottom, or from the top rather, I should say. For example, the guys over at the junior cadets make approximately between 2,578 to 4,478 Canadian dollars. People in the middle make between 10,604 to 11,889 Canadian dollars. And then the 1-star, 2-star, or I guess Leaf generals make in between 24,883 to 26,883 Canadian dollars per month. Now we're getting into what is a non-commissioned member or a NCM. Basically, when you're looking at a non-commissioned member, they are the backbone of the Canadian Armed Forces. They're the hands-on experts, the ones who keep everything running smoothly on the ground. When you start as a non-commissioned member, you're basically going to be diving into the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes of military operations and how they function on a day-to-day basis. You'll begin by mastering some type of technical or administrative skill, depending on which role or occupation you're applying for. You're basically going to be the specialist who knows every piece of a certain field, or a wizard who keeps the unit organized. The path for NCMs is one of growth and development. As you gain a lot more experience and complete further training, a lot more doors open to leadership roles, at least within the non-commissioned member pathway. You might find yourself teaching new recruits, advising on operational tactics, or even taking on managerial roles within your unit. Think of it as climbing a ladder, where each rung represents a new level of responsibility and expertise. From here, you could be shaping the next generation of soldiers if you're teaching at Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, or you could be the one who advises officers on how to best use the skills and knowledge you've accumulated over the years. The CAF offers NCMs a clear path to not only advance at rank, but also become pivotal in the force's success. Now we get into the required educational and training. There is none. There is no educational requirement and no prior training requirement. They do look at your prior experience, be that education or work, as a really good benefit to a point where they actually may issue you a better pay increment or even potential a bonus up to maybe 10,000, 20,000, depending on how skilled you are. But they will train you. They will take you over to whatever job you're applying for, take you to the respective school for that job, and they'll teach you. You don't need to have anything prior to enlisting as a non-commissioned member. They'll teach you everything. Now we have the non-commissioned members. These guys form the backbone of the CAF and all of our military operations. They range from entry level to the privates and aviators, all the way to the mid-range, like sergeant or master corporal, all the way to the far range at the very end, chief warrant officer. Now, their pay does differ substantially. Obviously, you're basically in an entry-level position when you join at first, so you're making in between $3,614 to $5,304 Canadian dollars per month. When you get to the rank of more master corporal, around the sergeant area, you're making more in between $7,043 to $7,380 Canadian per month. And then eventually when you get to the far right at the end, you're making about $9,347 to about $9,735 per month. Now, by this point, you're probably wondering, what the hell do I choose? Do I choose an officer? Do I choose a non-commissioned member? Do I go for the one that pays more, the one that maybe I like more in my field? That's the question here. Now you want to go ahead and choose an officer if you have or if you're willing to pursue a university degree. There's no point applying for one if you're not at least willing or you already have one. They're just going to turn you away and they're not going to let you even, I don't even know if they'll let you apply for this. You also want to choose officer if you're drawn to strategic leadership and policy execution. Officers are at the forefront of policy, shaping how operations are conducted. If you're passionate about making big decisions and ones that can influence the direction of military strategy or policy, then the officer path might be what benefits you the most. You might also thrive on managing resources. You might be more of a commander rather than a follower, much like how CEOs oversee a company assets. If leading teams, coordinating logistics, and ensuring everyone is where they need to be excites you, then you might want to choose officer in the CAF as it is a natural fit. Now, for NCM, if you're more about getting your hands dirty and working in the field with technical aspects of military work, the non-commissioned path is where you'll shine, 100%. Think of it as being an expert mechanic, the IT specialist, or the logistics pro who keeps everything running smoothly on a ground-to-ground basis. Not having a university degree isn't a barrier here. If you're keen on diving into practical, hands-on skill development right from the start, then being an NCM means you can begin your military career based on your abilities and willingness to learn on the job. For those who prefer to work their way up through operational experience, the NCM route offers a clear progression from doing the work to supervising it. You'll start by mastering your trade and then move into roles where you're overseeing operations, ensuring everything is executed correctly before stepping into leadership positions. It's a path where experience is your greatest teacher. Now for the conclusion. Both roles are extremely essential to the function of the CAF on a daily basis. You need to have people who are in more of an executive, high-level leadership position in order to coordinate resources around the globe and throughout Canada, but you also need people on the ground who know what they're doing and have that expertise for their occupation. Your choice should reflect your educational background, your career aspirations, and your leadership interests, but the most important thing is to do what inspires you. Don't just see the high salary of a 3-leaf general or 3-star general and say, I'm going to eventually shoot for that. You can, by all means. If that's what you want to do, go for it. You should really do what inspires you. That is by far the most important choice you could make, and one that'll actually allow you to enjoy your job. Because at the end of the day, you want to really enjoy what you're doing. You don't want to loathe it and just hate work or hate whatever you're doing. It's not going to make things healthy. So just do what you enjoy. All right, guys, thank you for listening. That was everything I had for the difference between officers and enlisted. I would really appreciate any feedback you guys could leave. And if you got this far, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Feel free to drop a like, a comment, even subscribe if the video helped you. I'd really appreciate it. But have a great day, guys. Take care. Peace.